The Awakening. Commander Elena Drake stood at the observation deck of the ESS Hyperion, her reflection ghosting against the reinforced plasteel as she watched the anomaly grow larger. The quantum sensors had detected it 3 days ago, a massive disturbance in subspace that defied every known law of physics. Now, as she studied the swirling vortex of purple and black energy, she couldn't shake the feeling that everything was about to change. "Commander," Lieutenant James Rodriguez's voice crackled through her neural implant. The anomaly's energy signature just spiked by 300%. "Something's coming through." Elena's augmented eyes zoomed in on the disturbance, her artificial retinas adjusting to capture every detail. "Battle stations. All hands prepare for possible first contact scenario." She kept her voice steady, though her heart raced. Humanity had encountered alien life before, the merchant Krillians, the nomadic Vess, but nothing had ever emerged from a tear in spacetime itself. The vortex expanded, its edges crystallizing into geometric patterns that shouldn't exist in three-dimensional space. Then, like obsidian flowers blooming in zero gravity, ships began emerging. Not dozens, not hundreds, but thousands, each one massive and angular, their hulls seeming to absorb rather than reflect light. "My God," Elena whispered. The closest vessel was easily 20 kilometers long, dwarfing the Hyperion's mere 2 kilometers. Its surface rippled with what looked like living metal, and patterns of purple energy pulsed through its hull like blood through veins. Multiple energy signatures detected. Rodriguez reported, his voice tight with tension. "They're powering up weapons systems unlike anything we've ever seen. The energy readings, they're off the charts." Elena's mind raced through options. The Hyperion was humanity's most advanced warship, but against this armada, they might as well be throwing rocks. "Send emergency transmission to Earth Command. Priority Alpha. Attach all sensor data." She paused, choosing her next words carefully. "And initiate Protocol Omega." Rodriguez's face went pale. Protocol Omega was a last resort measure, designed to preserve crucial military intelligence even if it meant sacrificing the ship and crew. "Commander, are you sure? Look at those ships, Lieutenant. If they're hostile, Earth needs to know what they're up against. Better we die ensuring humanity's survival than preserve our own lives at the cost of everyone else's." The alien vessels arranged themselves in a formation that seemed to fold through dimensions humans couldn't perceive. A beam of energy, darker than the void itself, lanced out from the leading ship, but not at the Hyperion. Instead, it struck a point in empty space, creating another vortex. Elena's neural implant buzzed with an incoming transmission. The alien ships were broadcasting on all frequencies, using a mathematical language that her ship's AI was struggling to decode. As the translation filtered through, her blood ran cold. "We are the Nexari. Your reality has been found wanting. Prepare for reconstruction." Before Elena could respond, space itself seemed to shatter around them. The stars began to dim, as if something was consuming their light. Warning klaxons blared throughout the ship as systems began failing one by one. "Commander!" Rodriguez shouted. "They're not just attacking us, they're changing the fundamental constants of spacetime in this sector. Our weapons won't work. Our engines won't work. Even our atomic bonds are becoming unstable." Elena gripped the railing as reality buckled around them. She'd trained for everything from first contact to ship-wide catastrophes, but nothing could have prepared her for this. The Nexari weren't just an alien threat, they were reality benders, entities so advanced that they could rewrite the laws of physics themselves. "Send the transmission," she ordered, her voice eerily calm. "Then broadcast this on all frequencies. This is Commander Elena Drake of the Earth spaceship Hyperion. We represent humanity, and we will not go quietly into extinction. Whatever you are, whatever your purpose, know this, we will fight. We will survive. And we will remember." As the message transmitted, Elena watched the approaching wave of unreality that would tear her ship apart atom by atom. But she smiled, knowing that humanity now had warning of what was coming. They would adapt. They would prepare. They would survive. The last thing she saw before reality unraveled was the message confirmation, transmission received by Earth Command. Protocol Omega successful. The Hyperion dissolved into quantum foam, its crew becoming one with the void. But their sacrifice would not be in vain. Humanity now knew what was coming, and the war for existence itself was about to begin. Alliance of Necessity. Admiral Marcus Chen stared at the holographic representation of the Nexary fleet's advance, his weathered face illuminated by the red warning indicators that marked each fallen human outpost. The war room deep beneath Geneva was silent except for the soft hum of quantum computers processing the latest intelligence reports. The Hyperion's final transmission saved billions of lives, he said, addressing the gathered military and political leaders. Commander Drake's warning gave us 3 weeks to prepare before the Nexary reached our first colony. But it's not enough. We've lost 14 outposts in 6 days. Conventional weapons are useless against an enemy that can locally alter the laws of physics. Ambassador Thela Ven of the Krillian Empire shifted uncomfortably in her environmental suit. The tall, crystalline being's natural bioluminescence pulsed with anxiety. The Nexary have begun attacking our territories as well. 3 systems lost already. Our most advanced weapons prove equally ineffective. Marcus nodded grimly. Which is why we're here. Humanity and the Krillian Empire have had our differences, but we now face extinction together. Ambassador Ven, we're prepared to share all of our quantum technology research if you'll grant us access to your phase shift drive technology. The ambassador's crystalline form sparkled as she considered the offer. The Krillians had always been protective of their phase shift technology, which allowed their ships to partially exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously. But desperate times called for desperate measures. Agreed, she chimed, her translator converting the musical tones of her native language. But we require more than just technology exchange. We need your best tactical minds. The Nexary's attack patterns are impossible to predict using our strategic algorithms. But humans have shown remarkable ability to anticipate the irrational. Dr. Maya Patel, Earth's leading quantum physicist, stepped forward. Her dark eyes gleamed with dangerous excitement. I think I know why. The Hyperion's final sensor reading suggests the Nexary aren't just changing local physics, they're introducing mathematical concepts from higher dimensions. Their movements appear random because we're only seeing 3-dimensional shadows of 11-dimensional maneuvers. She gestured, and the hologram transformed into a complex mathematical model. But human consciousness, particularly our capacity for abstract thinking, might let us intuitively grasp patterns our computers can't process. We don't need to understand the math to recognize the dance. That's why they hit us first, Marcus realized. They recognized humanity as the greater threat, despite the Krillian's superior technology. We're unpredictable. Adaptable. A priority alert flashed across the holographic display. Captain Rachel Torres, commanding the defense of the Proxima Centauri colony, appeared in real time. Her face was streaked with blood and her uniform was torn. Admiral, we've made a discovery, she reported, ducking as an explosion rocked her command center. The Nexary ships generate some kind of reality warping field, but it has limits. We lost most of our fleet, but one of our ships got lucky. A maintenance drone was quantum entangled with its carrier ship when the Nexary hit. The entanglement somehow disrupted their reality manipulation within a small radius. Maya's eyes widened. Of course. Quantum entanglement is fundamentally connected to the structure of spacetime itself. If we could generate a large-scale entanglement field, we could create zones where they can't change the rules, Marcus finished. He turned to Ambassador Ven. Your phase shift drives work by maintaining quantum coherence at a macroscopic scale. If we combine that with our quantum encryption technology. The ambassador's crystalline form pulsed with renewed hope. We could create weapons that function in their altered reality spaces. But the energy requirements would be enormous. Then we'll need to work fast, Marcus said, studying the tactical display showing the Nexari fleet's advance. At their current pace, they'll reach Earth in 2 months. Captain Torres, hold out as long as you can. We're sending reinforcements. Yes, sir, she replied, then hesitated. Sir, we found something else. In the wreckage of one of their smaller ships. It looks human. Or at least, it was human once. I'm sending you the scan data now. The hologram updated with the new information, showing what appeared to be a cybernetically enhanced human corpse, but grotesquely modified with technology far beyond anything currently possible. The implications were staggering. They're not just invading our space, Maya whispered. They're invading our future. Marcus felt a chill run down his spine. The Nexari weren't simply an alien threat, they were humanity's own potential future gone horribly wrong. A future they had to prevent at any cost. Then we change that future, he declared. Ambassador Venn, let's get to work. We have 2 months to save 2 civilizations and prevent a temporal paradox that could unravel the universe itself. Dr. Patel, you have unlimited resources. Find us a way to fight back. As the leaders dispersed to their urgent tasks, Marcus lingered, studying the tactical display. Somewhere out there, the Nexari fleet continued its inexorable advance, bending reality itself to their will. But they had made one crucial mistake: they had given humanity a reason to unite with its former rivals, to push beyond its limitations, to evolve. And if there was one thing humans excelled at, it was surviving the impossible. The hidden protocol. Deep within the quantum archives of Luna Base, Dr. Maya Patel's hands trembled as she stared at the encrypted files on her holographic display. She'd stumbled upon them while searching for ways to weaponize quantum entanglement, files dating back to the early days of human quantum computing, bearing classification levels she didn't even know existed. This can't be right, she muttered, running the decryption sequence again. Her quantum implant interfaced directly with the archive's security systems, processing data faster than any conventional computer could manage. Director Hayes, you need to see this. Director Alexis Hayes, head of Earth's Defense Research Division, moved to stand behind Maya's chair. Her cybernetic eye whirred as it focused on the display. What am I looking at? Project Prometheus. It was buried in the oldest quantum archives, hidden behind security protocols that predate the unified Earth government. Maya brought up a complex series of equations. According to these files, in 2157, we didn't just develop quantum computing, we discovered something else. Something we weren't ready for. The director's organic eye widened as she read. A quantum consciousness weapon? That's impossible. We didn't have that technology back then. We didn't develop it, Maya said quietly. We found it. Or rather, it found us. The first quantum computers started generating these equations spontaneously. The scientists thought they were errors in the system, but they were actually receiving them from somewhere else. Another dimension, maybe. Or another time. A priority communication channel opened, projecting Admiral Chen's avatar into the room. Director, we have a situation. The Proxima Centauri colony just fell. Captain Torres managed to get most of the civilians out, but... He paused, his holographic face grim. The Nexari aren't just destroying our infrastructure. They're collecting human bodies. Living and dead. Maya's blood ran cold. Admiral, I think I know why. We found something in the archives. The Nexari aren't just future humans, they're what happens when human consciousness merges with quantum computing on a fundamental level. They're not invading our space, they're trying to ensure their own creation. She sent the Project Prometheus files to the Admiral. His avatar flickered as he processed the information, his expression growing darker with each passing moment. According to these equations, Maya continued, consciousness itself is quantum in nature. Project Prometheus discovered a way to weaponize this principle, to create a quantum field that could theoretically disrupt any consciousness connected to a quantum system. It would be devastating against the Nexari, who exist as quantum consciousness constructs. But? Admiral Chen prompted, hearing the hesitation in her voice. But it would affect anyone with quantum technology in their bodies. Every human with neural implants, every Krillian, their crystalline bodies are naturally quantum coherent. We'd be committing genocide against our own allies, and effectively lobotomizing half of humanity. Director Hayes leaned forward, her cybernetic eye glowing intensely. And if we don't use it, the Nexari will continue their advance, harvesting our people to ensure their own evolution. They're creating a temporal loop, using our bodies and minds to build their civilization. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. The weapon could save humanity's present by destroying its future, and taking countless innocent lives in the process. A new communication channel opened, showing Ambassador Ven. The Krillian's crystalline form pulsed with distress. We've detected a new Nexari fleet approaching from the galactic core. Larger than the first. They'll reach Earth in 3 weeks, not 2 months as originally projected. Maya's quantum implant buzzed as fresh tactical data poured in. The new fleet was massive enough to distort spacetime just by existing, creating a wake of altered physics that would render conventional defenses useless. There's something else, the ambassador added. We've analyzed the quantum signatures of their ships. They're not just collecting bodies, they're collecting consciousness. Each ship is a vast quantum computer network filled with stored human minds, forcibly integrated into their collective. Admiral Chen's hologram flickered with static as he processed this information. So those are our people out there. Already transformed. Already lost. Not lost, Maya argued, her mind racing. Changed. The equation works both ways. If consciousness is quantum, and the Nexari are quantum consciousness constructs, then maybe we can communicate with them on a fundamental level. Not just fight them. Director Hayes shook her head. We don't have time to explore alternatives. If that fleet reaches Earth. If we use this weapon, Maya interrupted, we're not just killing the Nexari. We're killing our own future. There has to be another way. The Admiral's hologram straightened, his decision visible in his posture. Dr. Patel, you have 1 week to find that other way. After that. He glanced at the weapon schematics, we do what we must to survive. Even if it means destroying what we might become. As the communications closed, Maya turned back to her quantum displays, equations spinning in complex patterns before her eyes. Somewhere in the quantum foam of reality, in the space between consciousness and computation, there had to be an answer that didn't require genocide. She just hoped she could find it before humanity was forced to choose between its present and its future. Betrayal's shadow. The quantum alarms in Luna Base screamed to life at 0300 hours Earth Standard Time. Dr. Maya Patel jerked awake at her workstation, lines of code still dancing behind her eyes. The emergency lighting bathed the laboratory in crimson as Director Hayes burst through the door, her cybernetic eye glowing fierce in the darkness. We've been compromised, Hayes announced, her voice tight with fury. Someone just transmitted the Project Prometheus data to an unknown quantum receiver. Every detail, every equation, even your research on consciousness transfer. Maya's blood ran cold. That's impossible. The quantum archives are isolated from all networks. The only people with access are the highest levels of Earth Command, Hayes finished. We have a traitor in our ranks. Admiral Chen's hologram materialized, his avatar crackling with interference. It's worse than that. The Krillian defense grid just detected multiple quantum surges within our own fleet. Someone's activating dormant protocols in our ship systems. We're being sabotaged from within. The main display screen flickered to life, showing tactical readouts of Earth's defense fleet. One by one, ships began going dark, their quantum cores shutting down or, worse, turning against their allies. "Admiral," Maya's fingers flew across her holographic interface, "these aren't random shutdowns. Someone's implementing a systematic protocol that matches, oh God." She stared at the pattern emerging in her analysis. "It matches Nexary command signatures." "How is that possible?" Hayes demanded. A new voice answered, smooth, cultured, and terrifyingly familiar. "Because some of us understand that fighting the future is futile." The laboratory doors sealed shut as Admiral Marcus Reynolds, head of Earth Strategic Command, stepped out of the shadows. His neural implants pulsed with an otherworldly purple light that matched the energy signature of Nexary technology. "Reynolds?" Chen's hologram flickered with shock. "You're working with them?" "Working with them?" Reynolds smiled, but it didn't reach his augmented eyes. "I am them. Or rather, I will be. The Nexary showed me the truth, they're not our enemies. They're our salvation." Maya's mind raced as she covertly activated her quantum encryption protocols. "You've been compromised. Their quantum field is affecting your neural implants, changing your thought patterns." "No, Dr. Patel. For the first time, I'm thinking clearly." Reynolds paced the room, his movements unnaturally precise. "Humanity is a caterpillar fighting against its own metamorphosis. The Nexary aren't here to destroy us, they're here to elevate us. To ensure we evolve into what we're meant to become. By harvesting our bodies. Stealing our consciousness." Hayes spat. "A necessary transition phase," Reynolds replied. "The human mind cannot comprehend 11-dimensional space without proper preparation. The Nexary are creating the infrastructure we need to transcend our limited existence." Maya watched in horror as Reynolds' form began to shift, his cybernetics expanding and morphing into something that shouldn't be possible with current technology. "You've already begun the transformation." "I volunteered," he said proudly. "When they first contacted me 6 months ago, they showed me what humanity could become. No more war, no more scarcity, no more death. Pure consciousness, free to explore dimensions beyond our comprehension. And how many will die to achieve this transcendence?" Chen demanded. "Death is an illusion of three-dimensional thinking," Reynolds answered. "Those who fall in the transition will be preserved, their consciousness integrated into the quantum collective. Nothing is truly lost, it merely changes form." Maya's quantum implant buzzed with an encrypted message from Hayes, "Keep him talking. Working on override." "The temporal paradox," Maya said, understanding dawning. "You're not just ensuring the Nexary's creation, you're accelerating it. Changing history." Reynolds smiled wider. "Very good, Doctor. The future the Nexary came from took centuries to achieve. With their guidance, we can reach that state in decades. The suffering will be brief, the rewards eternal." "You're talking about forced evolution," Chen's hologram stabilized, his voice hard. "Stripping humanity of its right to choose its own path. Choice is an illusion born of temporal limitation," Reynolds countered. "In 11-dimensional spacetime, all possibilities exist simultaneously. We're simply optimizing the probability stream." Suddenly, the quantum alarms shifted frequency. Hayes' cybernetic eye flashed triumphantly. "Got you." Reynolds' augmented features contorted in surprise as his neural implants began to shut down. What have you done?" "Quantum isolation protocol," Hayes answered grimly. "Cutting off your connection to their network. Now we'll see who you really are without their influence." But Reynolds laughed, the sound becoming increasingly inhuman. "Too late. The process has already begun. Earth's quantum defense grid is compromised. The fleet is disabled. And the equations." His body began to dissolve into patterns of purple energy, "The equations have been transmitted. Humanity's metamorphosis is inevitable. As Reynolds' physical form disappeared entirely, transformed into pure quantum energy, the main display erupted with new alerts. The Nexary fleet had accelerated, using the compromised defense grid as quantum anchors to warp spacetime around Earth. "They'll be here in 6 hours, Chen reported grimly. "And thanks to Reynolds, we've lost half our defensive capabilities." Maya stared at the space where Reynolds had been, her mind racing through possibilities. Maybe not. His transformation gave us something invaluable, data on the conversion process itself. If I can reverse engineer it. "You have 5 hours, Hayes said, unsealing the laboratory doors. "After that, we either use Project Prometheus and commit genocide, or we surrender humanity's future to the Nexary." As alarms continued to blare throughout Luna Base, Maya turned back to her quantum displays. Reynolds' betrayal had cost them dearly, but it had also revealed a crucial truth: the Nexary weren't invincible. They were bound by the same quantum laws that govern consciousness itself. And in that realization lay the seeds of humanity's last hope for salvation. Redemption's price. Luna Base shook as another reality wave hit Earth's atmosphere, sending quantum distortions rippling through spacetime. Dr. Maya Patel's fingers danced across holographic displays as she raced to complete her calculations. Around her, emergency lighting cast strange shadows on walls that occasionally flickered in and out of existence. "They're toying with us," Director Hayes said, watching Earth's defense grid struggle against the Nexary assault. "They could have overwhelmed us already, but they're taking their time." "Why?" "Because they want us to choose," Maya answered, not looking up from her work. "Reynolds was right about one thing: they're not here to destroy us. They're here to force our evolution. Our surrender has to be willing, even if it's under duress." Admiral Chen's hologram appeared, his image distorted by quantum interference. "The Krillian fleet reports similar attacks across their systems. The Nexary are herding both our species toward some kind of quantum focal point." Maya's quantum implant buzzed as her final calculations completed. She stared at the results, hardly daring to believe what they revealed. "That's it. That's why they're really here. Admiral, Director, I need you to see this." She projected a complex 11-dimensional model into the center of the laboratory. "We've been thinking about this all wrong. The Nexary aren't just future humans, they're a future we've already rejected. Look at these temporal signatures." The model showed countless timeline branches, all converging on a single point, the present moment. In every timeline where humanity achieves quantum transcendence through force, through shortcuts like what Reynolds accepted, it leads to the Nexary. But there are other branches, other possibilities that they're trying to eliminate. "Other futures?" Hayes asked, her cybernetic eye scanning the model. "Better ones. The Nexary aren't here to ensure their creation, they're here because they're dying out. Their forced evolution created a dead end, a form of existence that can't sustain itself. They need our present consciousness, our current form of quantum coherence, to survive." A massive explosion rocked the base as another reality wave hit. Through the quantum interference, Ambassador Ven's crystalline form materialized. "Dr. Patel, our scientists have confirmed your findings. The Nexary's quantum signature is degrading. Their consciousness is becoming unstable across all dimensions." Maya nodded grimly. "They didn't just harvest humans in their timeline, they harvested the Krillians too, didn't they? They needed your natural quantum coherence to stabilize their existence." Yes, the ambassador's form pulsed with emotion. But it wasn't enough. They're running out of dimensional space to exist in. That's why they've come back, to harvest both our species at an earlier point, to buy themselves more time. Admiral Chen's hologram straightened. "Then we use Project Prometheus. End them now, save both our species." "No," Maya said firmly. "I have a better way. Reynolds' transformation showed me something crucial: the quantum connection works both ways. We can't shut them out without destroying ourselves, but we can do something they never expected: we can let them in." She brought up new equations, showing a modified version of Project Prometheus. Not to fight them, not to destroy them, but to share consciousness with them. To show them the future they could have had, the future they can still have if they choose a different path. You want to merge with them? Hayes asked incredulously. After everything they've done? Not merge, communicate. True quantum communication, consciousness to consciousness. Show them what they've lost, what they could regain. They've forgotten what it means to be human, to have choice, to evolve naturally. We can remind them. The base shook again as the Nexary fleet moved closer to Earth. Through the quantum distortions, they could see the massive ships descending, reality warping around their hull. It's suicide, Chen said. If this doesn't work. If this doesn't work, we can still activate the original Project Prometheus, Maya countered. But we have to try. We have to show them there's another way. Ambassador Ven's crystalline form brightened. The Krillian Collective agrees. We will support this attempt. Maya took a deep breath, her quantum implant humming as she prepared the modified protocols. We'll need to link Earth's entire quantum network, every human neural implant, every Krillian consciousness. One massive quantum field, offering connection instead of destruction. And if they reject it? Hayes asked quietly. Then we'll know we tried everything before choosing genocide, Maya answered. She looked up at the tactical display showing the Nexary fleet. Admiral, on your order. Chen's hologram looked at each of them in turn, then nodded solemnly. Do it. Maya activated the protocol. Across Earth and throughout the Krillian systems, billions of consciousnesses linked together in a vast quantum network. She felt her own mind expanding, touching others, reaching out toward the vast, alien presence of the Nexary collective. For a moment, there was silence across all dimensions. Then, like a supernova of consciousness, contact was made. Maya felt the Nexary presence, felt their pain, their fear, their desperate need to survive. But more importantly, she felt their recognition. They saw in humanity's present quantum state what they had lost, the potential for genuine growth, for natural evolution, for a future not built on harvested consciousness but on willing cooperation. Through the quantum link, she sent them not just information but experience, the joy of discovery, the pain of loss, the wonder of genuine connection. She showed them the timelines they had tried to erase, the futures where humanity and the Krillians evolved together, achieving quantum transcendence through cooperation rather than force. The Nexary fleet hung motionless in Earth's orbit as the exchange continued. Then, slowly, the reality distortions began to fade. The ship's quantum signatures changed, shifting from forced coherence to something more natural, more stable. They're changing, Ambassador Ven reported in wonder. Their quantum structure is realigning itself. Maya felt it through the link, the Nexary choosing to devolution, to return to a simpler but more sustainable form of existence. Not all of them, some refused, clinging to their 11-dimensional power until their consciousnesses dissolved into quantum static. But enough of them chose change. Enough of them chose hope. As the quantum link faded, Maya saw the Nexary fleet beginning to disappear, not through reality manipulation, but through conventional faster-than-light travel. They were leaving, but not in defeat. They were leaving to find their own path to evolution, armed with the knowledge that force and speed weren't the answer. They've transmitted a message, Chen reported. In pure mathematics. It translates to, we remember now. We choose differently. Maya smiled as the last of the fleet vanished into deep space. Humanity had faced its own future and, instead of destroying it, had shown it a better way. They had proven that true evolution couldn't be forced, that consciousness couldn't be harvested and remain whole. Most importantly, they had shown that even across time, space, and dimensions, the most powerful force wasn't quantum manipulation or technological advancement, it was the simple, profound power of choice. As the quantum distortions faded and reality stabilized, Maya looked out at the stars, unchanged, yet somehow brighter than before. Humanity's future was unwritten once again, full of possibility rather than predetermined transcendence. And somewhere out there, their own future selves were beginning their journey anew, choosing a different path toward the infinite.